Imagine a microscopic creature landing on your arm. It doesn't want to kill you. Instead, it injects a chemical cocktail directly into your bloodstream that permanently deletes your reproductive organs, chemically castrates you, and physically forces your body to undergo a complete gender transition against your will. You are fully conscious, but your mind is violently rewritten. Your brain is hacked, forcing you to believe that you are now a mother. And for the rest of your pathetic, enslaved existence, you will fiercely protect, clean, and eventually give birth to the exact same alien monsters that destroyed your life. Welcome to the pitch-black, terrifying reality of the ocean floor. And welcome to the ultimate biological identity theft perpetrated by a parasite known as Sacculina carcini. Most predators in nature want to eat their prey, but Sacculina is a master of dark biological engineering. It belongs to a bizarre family of parasitic barnacles, yet it possesses no shell, no mouth, and no stomach. It is a creature entirely designed to steal another animal's biological vehicle. Over the next minutes, we are going to trace the exact, horrifying timeline of this microscopic invasion. We will explore how it performs a flawless surgical breach, the terrifying chemical castration it executes, and the agonizing psychological trick it plays on its victim's brain. Do not look away, because the body snatcher is already inside. The nightmare begins in the freezing, dark waters of the ocean floor. A healthy male green crab is scavenging in the sand. He is heavily armored, protected by a thick, nearly impenetrable exoskeleton of tough chitin. He is a predator in his own right, but drifting silently in the ocean currents above him is a microscopic larva, smaller than a grain of sand. This is the female Sacculina in her cypress stage. She is blind. She cannot eat. She only has a few days to live before her energy runs out. But she is equipped with highly sensitive chemical receptors tuned to the exact biological scent of a crab. The larva senses the crab and lands silently on his shell. But she knows she cannot drill through the thickest parts of the armor. She creeps across the crab's body, searching for a fatal flaw in his defenses. She finds it at the very base of a single tiny hair joint on the crab's leg. This is the only place where the exoskeleton is soft and vulnerable. The exact millisecond she finds this soft spot, the parasite executes one of the most extreme, horrifying biological transformations in the animal kingdom. She realizes she cannot fit inside the crab as a complex organism, so she decides to discard her own body. The larva physically sheds her legs. She sheds her eyes. She throws away her entire outer shell. She reduces herself down to a single, microscopic biological structure that resembles a terrifying, hollow hypodermic needle. This horrifying stage is called the kentragon. She aggressively stabs this sharp biological dart directly into the soft, raw pink tissue of the crab's joint. With the needle securely locked in the crab's flesh, the parasite forcefully squeezes and squirts a tiny, glowing, microscopic blob of purely undifferentiated cells, called a vermigon, directly into the rushing bloodstream of the host. The injection is complete. The empty syringe falls away into the ocean, dead. But the microscopic payload of alien cells is now violently circulating inside the crab's body. The host feels absolutely nothing, completely unaware that his biological identity has just been permanently deleted. Inside the dark, fluid-filled cavities of the crab, the injected alien cells begin to aggressively multiply. They do not grow into a recognizable animal. Instead, they operate like an aggressive, malignant cancer. The cells fuse together, growing into a massive, sprawling, complex network of thick, toxic yellow roots. This internal root system is known as the interna. These glowing yellow roots rapidly spread throughout the crab's entire body. They wrap tightly around the crab's stomach, plunging deeply into its digestive tract to steal a massive percentage of the nutrients the crab eats. They thread through his legs. They wrap around his brain. But the parasite is incredibly careful. It does not kill the crab. It ensures the host stays perfectly alive, healthy, and hungry. However, the interna has a highly specific, terrifying primary target. The glowing yellow roots relentlessly, aggressively snake their way toward the crab's reproductive organs. When the roots reach the host's gonads, they launch a devastating chemical attack. The parasite secretes a highly specialized acidic enzyme that physically melts and dissolves the crab's testicles. The host is brutally, surgically, and chemically castrated from the inside out. The crab can never reproduce. His entire biological purpose on Earth has been completely erased. All the energy his body would have used for mating is violently stolen and redirected straight into the parasite's root system. But the absolute horror of Sacculina does not stop at castration. The parasite does not just want a host, it wants a compliant, dedicated surrogate mother. Because the host is a male crab, he lacks the natural biological instincts and physical anatomy required to care for eggs. Male crabs have narrow, V-shaped abdomens designed for fighting and moving quickly. The parasite recognizes this structural problem. To fix it, the Sacculina begins to aggressively pump a massive flood of highly complex, gender-altering hormones directly into the male crab's bloodstream. This overwhelming chemical flood completely overrides the male crab's biology. The male begins to physically and psychologically transition. His fighting claws shrink. He stops behaving aggressively. And as the internal pressure builds, his rigid exoskeleton begins to unnaturally bend and widen. The hard, narrow, male V-shaped abdomen physically warps, cracking and expanding into a broad U-shaped abdomen, the exact biological shape of a female crab designed to carry a massive brood of eggs. The gender transition is complete. The male vehicle has been perfectly customized for the alien passenger. With the host's body completely altered and his mind chemically subdued, the parasite prepares for its final, horrific stage. The massive internal root system forces its way through the crab's softened underbelly. With a sickening, wet tear, it bursts through the shell, forming a massive, swollen, pulsating, sickly yellow sac on the exact spot where a female crab would naturally carry her own eggs. This horrific, throbbing external sac is called the externa. It is filled with thousands of the parasite's alien larvae. If a healthy crab saw a massive parasite attached to its body, it would immediately use its sharp claws to rip the infection away. But the crab's brain has been entirely hacked. The Sacculina's neurotoxins trick the host into believing that this grotesque, pulsating yellow alien sac is actually his own precious offspring. The crab becomes incredibly protective. He uses his claws to gently, lovingly groom and clean the sac, removing algae and debris. He fiercely defends the parasite from predators, risking his own life to protect the very monster that castrated him. The tragedy reaches its absolute peak during the spawning event. When the alien larvae inside the sac are ready to be released, the parasite sends a final chemical command to the crab's brain. The zombified host climbs to a high rock on the ocean floor. He stands tall into the ocean current. Using the exact, specific maternal behavior of a spawning female crab, the host begins to rhythmically bob his body up and down. He uses his claws to gently stir the water, creating a perfect vortex. The pulsating yellow sac bursts open, releasing thousands of microscopic Sacculina larvae into the ocean current. The crab actively helps the parasites disperse, ensuring that thousands of other crabs will suffer the exact same agonizing fate. The host has been completely reduced to a tragic, mindless biological incubator. What is the solution for the crab? Can it ever recover? In nature, crabs heal themselves by molting. They shed their old, damaged shell and grow a fresh, new one. It is a biological reset. But the Sacculina parasite is a flawless engineer. It knows that if the crab molts, it might accidentally rip the parasite's external sac off its body. To prevent this, the parasite completely disables the crab's molting glands. The host crab is permanently locked inside its current exoskeleton. It can never grow again. It can never heal. It is biologically frozen in time. The crab will survive in this horrifying, castrated, zombified state for the rest of its natural lifespan, eternally feeding and cleaning the parasite, entirely unaware that its life was stolen from it on that very first day. There is no cure. There is no escape. The crab dies exactly as it lived, a loyal, devoted slave to the alien that stole its identity. The Sacculina parasite is the ultimate proof that nature does not care about free will. It treats biological identity as nothing more than a vehicle to be hijacked, hacked, and rewritten. If this biological documentary made you incredibly grateful to own your own body, hit the subscribe button right now. Dysfauna is dedicated to exposing the most deeply unsettling realities of the natural world. But what if the most terrifying biological prison isn't built by a parasite, but by your own muscles? Imagine a microscopic bacteria entering a tiny scratch on your foot. It releases a neurotoxin so powerful that it completely hijacks your motor neurons. Every single muscle in your body violently flexes at maximum capacity at the exact same time. Your spine arches, your jaw locks shut, and your muscles pull so hard that they literally snap your own bones, all while you are completely conscious. In our next episode, you will experience the ultimate biological torture of tetanus. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and welcome to the dark side of biology.